All right, guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. Here is the Google Pixel 7a. This is their latest device, and today we're going to give you a few reasons why you should pass or some reasons why you probably should go ahead and pick this up. Now, I've been testing this since launch. I bought this on day one. I walked into a Best Buy and bought it, and I brought it home and I started using it. So let's go ahead and take a look here at some reasons why you probably should consider picking up this device. Now, the first thing is the cameras. Now, I have been using this every day. Cameras, absolutely great. I mean, we know that Google's going to give us some of the best cameras because their AI algorithm for taking photos is absolutely great. These are just photos that I snapped around the house like I always do of different things. And I mean, you think about how clear these are and the way this camera produces the footage, it is just incredible. Look at how vivid and punchy and beautiful. And take in mind, I have a matte tempered glass on here too. And so with just my regular setup for my way I record videos, but that lets you know even more because matte screen protectors and things like that, they dumb down the quality of viewing through the screen like this. But the cameras on here are absolutely great. I mean, they take phenomenal photos, and I think that is one of the main reasons why you might want to consider this, because it has a nice ultra wide camera. It has great video, 4K at 60 frames per second. It has an enhanced voice when you're doing videos. Everything the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro come about with, this phone can do it too. So the steady shot, the cameras are just punching way above their weight class when it comes to comparing them to other devices that are trying to compete in this size. So you've got a 6.1 inch display. It's just a beautiful setup. This is a magnificent set of cameras, and I don't think anyone who picks this up will be disappointed when they snap a photo or shoot a video with these cameras. Yeah, I think you're gonna love it. Now, I was talking about like price and things like that. So let me say this. If you have a 6A, you really don't have to move. The 6A is on sale all the time. I still have a 6A. I didn't trade in my 6A. I kept it. It's a great phone to keep. I love the size. I don't have enough phones that are 6.1 inch displays. I like a smaller device like this. It's much easier when going to events and things like that, or somewhere where I want to carry something that's nice and sleek, but then also has the power. So if you have a 6A, I don't recommend you switch to the 7A because this device costs more. This device is $499. So the reason I'm saying that in the section of do not buy is because I think a lot of people forget what this phone actually is replacing. They're comparing it to the 7 and 7 Pro when it actually replaces the 6A, which replaced the 5A, which replaced the 4A, which replaced the 3A. You see what I'm saying? The A lineup. That's what makes this so great because these devices are so good, people bump them right up there to compete with the so-called pros or flagships. And I call this device a flagship because it has everything flagships have, period. I don't call it a mid-ranger in any way, any form factor at all. This is a flagship in my opinion. It is just Google's A lineup flagship because it has the beautiful internals of the current higher end devices. So the price, I'll put it on the side of, hey, if you have a 6A, don't rush out and get it. That's probably a reason why you might want to skip it. But if you don't have a Pixel 6A and you're coming from like a 3A or a 4A or a 5A, I definitely could recommend it. But for someone coming from the 6A and also from someone who has the 7 lineup, you don't need to be looking in this area right here. Just stay with the 7. And if you have a 6 Pro or a 6, I recommend you switch from the 6, but not the 6 Pro. But, you know, I'll put that on the reason not to buy because the price is $500. And so that puts it to me up in a different category where you're going to spend $500 is a lot of money to just go shell out. It's a lot of money. So consider that. It's a pro and a con, but I'm going to put it more on the con side, if you will, for this device because people have so many complaints about the price, they don't feel it's worth it. People are saying it really should have cost $399 or whatever these prices that they're making up. I feel like the device priced at $499 is great, but there's just too many reasons I would tell you not to get it based on your current device, especially if you're a Pixel person. You see what I mean? You understand why I'm going with that? So that is why I put it on this side. What did that say? Oh, it's my Ticketmaster. So I just want to say that price, I put it more on the do not buy side. And I just give you probably my best explanation as to why. Really, it's for Pixel people, but, or just Android people. And also, there's a lot of other phones out there that come close in specs from Motorola, but they cost, like, I guess, like performance and the way it's put together. There are just a lot of other phones out there that you can get for less than $499. Simply put. Now, a reason why you should consider purchasing this device is right here, the hardware. This device has some nice upgrades. Wireless charging now. You've got a 90 hertz display. It's more in line with the current 7 lineup. Now, I do have 7. I have all the other Pixels over here, but I want to stay focused on this one. This is some beautiful hardware, and it shows. You've got this beautiful blue design and that coral. Saw the coral. I don't think I could rock that particular coral device, but yeah, it is beautiful. But this blue is just, it is off the charts, man. It is a beautiful blue, and I think it looks really good. And the hardware on here is just great. Now, if you want a full spec rundown of the hardware on this device, jump on store.google.com. I'll leave a link down below so you can grab yours. And you'll be able to put the devices all around each other and see exactly what I mean by the hardware. But this does have a nice big battery inside of it too. That's hardware that you can't see, but you can experience. Now, I talked about the 90 hertz display, and that is where I want to go next on a reason why you probably should pick this up, because the display on here is absolutely great. It is just it's just good. I don't know. It's just bold. It's a smooth flowing display. It's a beautiful display, and it just works. It's just a great looking display. Now down here you can set it to, they call it smooth display, where it goes from 60 to 90 hertz on some content. Now the only thing about that is it's not 90 hertz all the time. It's 90 hertz in some situations, which is fine with me. But you can see how smooth this looks scrolling. But I think this is just an all-around beautiful display in general. And remember, I have a matte tempered glass on here, so that's why you're not getting that much reflection. But this is just a beautiful, beautiful display. To see it in person, I think you'll be highly impressed with this screen. It is just off the charts. Now, let's talk about a reason why you might want to pass on this device, and that's the speakers. Now, the speakers on here, they're loud, but when I compare them to other phones, especially some of the other Pixels, they're still loud, they're still clear. But I think companies kind of bend corners sometimes and take away little bitty things that we might not notice. Because if you don't have all the devices I have, you really won't be able to compare as much in as detail as I can. But I'm telling you, the 7 speakers feel a little bit more full. The 7 and 7 Pro feel more full. It's hard to put into words. A little bit more tone, just a little bit. But it's enough to notice for me because of how long I use the 7 and the 7 Pro. So while these speakers are great, some of you guys won't notice because you don't have the other devices, or you might be coming from something like a Galaxy phone, like these phones right here. Whoa. I mean, and also, oh man, iPhone speakers are phenomenal. These speakers on there are great. But there are plenty of other phones out there that have just spectacular speakers in this price range. And yes, I'm really reaching here. It was actually really hard for me to try to pick out some reasons why, like that I could hone in and give you a good example. But there is one, the last one I want to talk about on here, I'll get to in a second. It is one of the main reasons I would tell it. Well, it is probably one of the top reasons I would say not to get this device. And I'll talk about that in a little bit, but it's going to sound strange. You would think it would be price, right? Yeah, but the speakers on here, comparing to other Pixels, they're just not as full. as I would like. I like a more full sound, and these have tone. They have everything there, but I'm just used to the sound on some of the other Pixels. And yes, I just said it. I'm reaching here. I'm really taking a stretch because some of you guys are going to hear these speakers and say, "What? Those speakers are amazing." And you'd be absolutely right. Now, let's get back over to a reason why you probably should consider buying this, and it's the performance. It performs so good in day-to-day tasks, it's almost impossible to feel like you're not getting your money's worth. Look at those beauties. Oh, the performance on here in day-to-day tasks, day-to-day tasks on this are not lacking at all. Oh man, I wish I still had my 73, folks. I had a Buick I had an Oldsmobile 73. Oh my God, it was crazy. I cannot believe I sold that car, man. And I sold it to some guy and he screwed it up. He put like 30-inch wheels on it. Oh, shout out to my people from Florida, but some things need to stay original. Anyway, the performance on here are, oh man, yes. Stay locked, folks. Stay locked. You'll see. Anyway, if you're on my car channel, you definitely want to head over there coming up soon. But yeah, the performance on here is just incredible. It's incredible. I think if anybody's looking for a solid performer for day-to-day tasks, and when I say day-to-day tasks, I mean you got to get out there and use your phone for what you normally be using it for, and you'll see what I mean. Like running through just the regular Mike Tech, he on this selfie game, they shooting videos of himself. The day-to-day task on here, running through apps, especially my banking apps. Normally banking apps on some of my devices, they only run smooth on certain devices. And man, the Google's Pixels have been flowing with my banking apps. I used to get a lot of errors and stuff like that on some of my banking apps. Now they're flowing. They're flowing. I mean, all of my banking apps, my credit card apps, anything that's dealing with my banking information, some of those wouldn't work right for a little bit of time on some of my Pixels. And I don't know what that was about. Has anybody else experienced that? Like my Chase, my Capital One, my American Express, my Discover. The Chase, I think, was probably one of the ones that really, really bogged down a little bit on some of the other devices. I've uninstalled and reinstalled, and that solved it on the other devices. Just did that one time. It wasn't enough to like make a whole video about it, but because again, that's that day-to-day real life stuff. I don't need to run to the internet and say, "Oh my God, the Pixel is trash because it won't open Chase." That's ridiculous. You just uninstall the app, reinstall it, force close it, whatever you need to do to try to figure it out. And if you have a problem with it, it's probably not the phone. It's probably the app, or the developer hasn't updated the app. That's a lot of times, that's a huge thing. Like I was having problems with YouTube when I first got this phone, and now it's fixed. I force closed it and updated it again, and boom, no problems with YouTube now. But you see how this flows with performance? It's just phenomenal. It is just a phenomenal thing. Now, I'll go ahead and talk about the one other reason I would think you would probably want to get this device is the software and the software support from Google. You talk about a phenomenal experience. It is just one of the best experiences you will ever get. If you want to experience Android, yes, I know there are devices like this. I know they are. Oh, that's my Ticketmaster thing. I guess it's popping up. But I know that there are phones out there that you're going to say, "Oh my gosh, man, yeah, the software is good." One of the main competitors, I would say, is OnePlus. Oh God, I mean, Nothing and OnePlus. The Nothing phone has solid software. It really does. It has solid software. But there are phones out there that just perform well. And you hear something beeping off camera here. It's my Sony Pro I. This phone right here, to me, is just a direct. This software is so buttery smooth, and that is why. But this phone costs $1,800. This one costs $500, and this is stock Android. It is stock Android. Sony does great. I've gotten so many updates on this phone. It's phenomenal. Sony does great with their software because they keep it stock. But I could tell a person, stock Android, Google is the way to go. If you want solid software, get a Pixel. Get a Pixel. Period. Get a Pixel. You can save a lot of money, and you know you're going to get, if you're into that, and normally if you're into software, you're going to be thinking about software patches and security updates. You're going to be that person. So you're getting all of that if you get a Pixel. It's just that simple. Now, one thing I want to talk about is, it kind of caught me off guard, but you can go in here and you can disable the smart charging. As you can see here, I'm getting tons of battery out of this phone, but the charging, man, you got to turn off adaptive charging. You've got to. And you need to turn this one off too, extend battery life based on your phone usage. You can turn both of these off and the phone charges a heck of a lot faster. But for now, I just have the adaptive charging turned off. It comes default turned on. I've talked about this in another video, but some people are reporting that this phone charges slow. I reported that it charges slow, but you can get this phone to 100% from about 5 to 15% in about an hour's time, or maybe an hour and 10 minutes or so, hour and 15 minutes maybe. But it charges faster with this off. When you've got that on, when you have adaptive charging on, you're looking at about 2 hours, man. You're in iPhone territory at this point. For real. Google should have come out with 65-watt charging or something. But I understand it could be a limitation of the Tensor 2 chip, G2 chip. I don't know. But Google, if you're listening, you need to get some at least 50-watt charging on these phones. Please, because wireless charging is slow. And if you turn on adaptive charging, and I know this is for the benefits of keeping the device longer. If you're a person who upgrades only when you need to, leave that turned on. Leave both of these turned on. Just leave them on. But if you're a person who, hey, you might upgrade and sell it within a year and a half, 2 years, turn it off. This phone will definitely last you two years, as long as you have it in a nice case or something like that. But if you don't have it in a case, I mean, yeah, I've dropped it already without a case, but not on concrete. But yeah, turn this off. Turn this off right here. If you really, if you're going to keep your phone for about 2 years or so, you could leave it off indefinitely if you wanted to. If you just want the faster charging, just turn that off. Adaptive charging, it takes this phone almost 2 hours to charge in my experience. I wasn't even trying to check for it like that, but I kept going. I was like, man, this phone is only at 75%. This is when I first got it in that first 3 days. I was like, what the freak is going on? What is going on? Why is it taking this phone so long to charge? I started getting online, looking at the actual charging speeds of the device, all these different things. And I thought something is wrong with my device. And then I did my own research and I said, this is what it is. So now I keep it turned off because I want this thing to charge as fast as it can. And for me, from about 5 to 15% to 100, it's about an hour or so, or maybe an hour and 10 minutes or so in my experience. And also, I don't use my phone while it's charging, and sometimes I even power it off. So that is what I recommend you do. So folks, I got to tell you, Google has done a number on this device. They've done a number on this device. In fact, they've done a number on all of their devices. All of them. The A line has always been great. The A line has always been great. The 6A is definitely, I still have a love for the 4A and the 5A, especially the 5A. But I sold my 4A 5G. Man, I should have kept that phone. But, in the Pixel 6, or excuse me, the Pixel 5, I should have kept that. I sold it a long time ago. I don't know what I was thinking, but the 6A, I just have a special love for the 6A. SophieGuard.com is where you get the skin from. I planned on skinning this one with a dark blue, and then just see how I have this one done here with I left the top open. I put black on the bar, but this has a blue bar. And so I was thinking about doing like a special color blue here and then a darker blue here. So I have a love for the A lineup that'll probably never go away. It just won't, man. I mean, I feel like with Google's reputation, the 7A, My Project 13 was talking about how, he doesn't. I had seen this last video. Obviously, I watch all his content, but he was going to trade in the 7 for the 7A. I was just like, why would you do that? But you know, I shouldn't ask why. So you know, I mean, you do what you want. I didn't mean why in like a disrespectful way, but I just kind of said I don't think anybody's doing that. But he's a creator, and I respect his flow. So you know, hey, I get it. He maybe he didn't want his 7 anymore. So hey, you know, to each his own. But who am I to ask him why? I like his channel. And I just said I'm not giving up my 7 for the 7A. I guess I was basically what I was trying to get at. The only pixel I would give up for the 7A, well, if I was going to move, would just be the 6A. But I like the 6A so much. You know what I mean? I love the 6A. I like the 5A. But this new lineup right here, Google has done right by the A lineup by moving it up right next to the regular lineup. This is a flagship to me, folks. And Google is smart with it, man. Whether you buy this one or this one, you're still getting a flagship, in my opinion. That's just what I think about it. So, it's your man Jay. There's tons of reasons why. And again, if you want a full tech spec rundown, knock yourself out. Go to store.google.com or just hit the link down below to pick up one. And I got the Best Buy link. I think Best Buy is where I recommend you grab it from. They're still having a special on there. So basically, you get this phone for $399. Because they give you $50 off immediately when you start. Now, let me answer that question before I get out of here. People say, well, you have to activate it on service. Folks, you still have an unlocked device, and you still can go wherever you want to go. You can buy it from Best Buy, and I'm not even using this on T-Mobile. I'm using it on a IoT SIM card, man. That's why you see that that service up there like this. That's why you see that's the service I'm using it with, and I'll be giving you a video on that carrier in a little bit. But you know, Google, these devices from Best Buy are unlocked, and you don't have to stay with whoever I activated this on T-Mobile, right? And then I got it for $450 right out the gate, and then they gave me another $50 gift card right off of that, which makes this $100 off. Simply put, which in turn, Google was giving you the free buds and a case, which is basically another $100 off. But I would rather have the cash off, if I'm being honest. So that's why I went on Best Buy, and plus I could get it right away. If I'm being honest, I would have kept my order with Google because I really want those blue buds, and I still can take the money that Best Buy gave me and buy the blue buds because I have the green ones that I love the green ones. But I regularly use. I don't use the green ones. I regularly use these gray ones. I use the gray ones because the green ones are like collectors for me. That's all. But I'm gonna tell you, folks. And again, shout out to my Project 13. You know, love his channel. Go check him out. But he was going to trade in his 7 for the 7A. And he was like, oh, he started comparing them. And he was like, you know, the battery's not good enough and this, and that, and the other. And, you know, my experience is different. But he edits on his phones and stuff like that. I don't do that. At least not with certain phones. I only do it with phones like this or like my iPhone 14 Plus. Things like with bigger screens and stuff like that. But nonetheless, there's a ton of reasons why you will be able to think about why you wouldn't buy this phone. But I just gave you 5 reasons why you should buy it and 3 reasons why you shouldn't. You can go into detail in another video or in the comment section. Go ahead and go into detail and tell me why you think this is not a good purchase. Now, a lot of people are saying, well, the Tensor chip overheats regardless. I'm not having any overheating problems. I'm just not having any. And then when I did have overheating problems, I reported it to you. And it's not been any overheating with this device. So I think if you're in 110, I live in a hot area too, folks. So you would think I would really be overheating when I go outside. And there have been times with other Pixels that it did overheat. And I reported that to you. So with this device, no overheating yet. It is scorching hot outside early in the morning. I did a hike this morning and I was up really early to get a hike in. And then I just did another workout. I did 2 workouts today. But nonetheless, I wanted a burger. Is that strange? I wanted a burger. So I worked out twice today. I had to. There's no way I couldn't. So I did a morning hike and then I did an evening workout. It was late. It was about 6 in the evening when I worked out. So nonetheless, it's your man Jay. Reasons why you should buy the Google Pixel 7a and why you shouldn't. You have a list? I'll see you in the comment section. It's your man Jay. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bumpy Cam.